my fellow Newfoundlander and Labradorian. Colleagues, I rise today to speak in support of Bill S-222 and to thank Senator McFedrin for her advocacy. Colleagues, I feel that this bill is not a radical departure from our democratic tradition, but the next logical step in the long history of expanding the franchise in Canada. At Confederation, the federal voting age was 21, and it remained so until Parliament chose to lower it to 18 in 1970, responding to social change and to the growing expectation that younger citizens should have a voice. In exactly the same way, we are now called to ask whether the current age limit still reflects our values of inclusion, equality, and respect for the rights of all citizens. Section 3 of the Charter guarantees every Canadian citizen the right to vote without specifying an age, while Section 15 protects against discrimination, including on the basis of age. The age of 18 is therefore not a constitutional truth. It is a policy choice made in legislation, and like past choices, it can and should evolve. We already trust 16 and 17-year-olds with very serious responsibilities. They work, pay taxes, drive, consent to medical treatment, and has been alluded to with parental consent, may join certain aspects of the Canadian Armed Forces. Many of them contribute to their family's income and to our economy, paying into public systems they cannot yet help to shape at the ballot box. If we recognize their capacity in so many other domains, it is difficult to justify why they are considered competent to shoulder obligations, but not competent to exercise the fundamental right that underpins all others, the right to vote. Lowering the voting age would also strengthen civic engagement and democratic health. Youth-led organizations across the country, including Vote 16 Canada and Young Politicians of Canada and 4H, have demonstrated that 16 and 17-year-olds are eager to participate and are already organizing to be heard. Research and experience in other jurisdictions indicates that when people cast their first ballot earlier, at a time when they are still in school, rooted in their communities, and supported by structured civics education, they are more likely to become lifelong voters. A standardized modern civics curriculum paired with the rights to vote at 16 would turn the classroom into preparation for real democratic participation, not just abstract study of institutions. Internationally, Canada is at risk of falling behind comparable democracies that are choosing to trust and empower younger voters. The United Kingdom has announced its intention to lower the national voting age, building on the successful experience of Scotland and Wales, while other jurisdictions like Austria, Brazil, Argentina, and Ecuador fully endorse voting at 16. When our allies move in this direction, they do so not as an experiment in radical politics, but as a measured response to concerns about declining trust, disengagement, and the need to renew democratic legitimacy. Canada, which once showed leadership by lowering the age from 21 to 18, should not now live in the shadow of other countries' innovation, in the words of one young Canadian advocate. Some colleagues and commentators express concern about the maturity and knowledge of 16-year-olds, yet those concerns are often grounded in stereotypes rather than evidence. We know that many adults of all ages also struggle with civic literacy. The answer is to improve political education for everyone and not to withhold rights from a particular group of citizens. Political parties across the spectrum welcome youth members, recognizing that young people can meaningfully contribute to political debate, policy development, and leadership contests, as was so eloquently just now expressed by Senator Denise Batters. It would be inconsistent, and I would argue unfair, to value their energy inside party structures while denying them a say in the general elections that determine who governs the country. Colleagues, by lowering the voting age to 16, we would extend the franchise to hundreds of thousands of young Canadians whose futures are directly shaped by our decisions on climate policy, public finances, education, and digital regulation. We would signal that we see them not as problems to be managed, but as partners in the shared project of Canadian democracy. This chamber has a proud tradition of championing rights that were once controversial and are now taken for granted. So I urge you to see this proposal in the light that we are, in fact, an evolving democracy, and to give support to giving 16 and 17-year-olds the full rights of citizenship at the ballot box. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.